Hey peeps, a quick message before I start this tutorial. This is not a Minecraft mod pack. I've recently seen quite a few people in my comments asking about my Mine-imator models and how they can't use them in Minecraft. That's because you can't. These are models specifically made for a Minecraft themed animation program called Mine-imator. If you're looking for the official Wonderland.Jar Minecraft mod pack, I've given 2 download links in the description, one for Modrinth and the other for CurseForge. Again, these are not Minecraft mods. You can find the downloads for the official Wonderland.Jar Minecraft mod pack in the description. So back to the tutorial. This is part 2 of my Wonderland.Jar model pack tutorial. In the last tutorial, I covered these topics: retexturing eyeless, how to use flickers keyframes, how to use the spawn's particles, and extra information to help with animations and renders. So if any of these sound like areas you need help in, go visit Wonderland.Jar model pack tutorial, which will be linked in the description. In today's tutorial, I'll be covering these topics: how to retexture some specific entities, how to use pillar, how to use the depth particles, how to use sounds, and extra information on new entities to help with your animations and renders. I'll be covering these in only the new UI of Mine-imator, as the old UI doesn't have anything that's massively different from the new UI, so both can be done just the same. If by any chance you still need help, feel free to leave a comment down below or give me a quick message or DM on Discord. Let's get into this tutorial. So these entities right here are the specific entities I wanted to show you on how to retexture, as it can be a little confusing for some if you don't know how the models work. So for Ethereal Demon, which are these two here, we have the old and we have the new. These two cannot be retextured between the other, so you can't use the new to retexture the old and you can't use the old to retexture the new. So Ethereal Demon has the old Ethereal Demon has its own My model, which can only be used for these two reskins. But the new one, which is here, you can only use it on these two reskins, as they are completely different when modelling, because this one's a higher resolution than this one. The Fate, this one you can retexture with its other reskin, which is the old, which I'll show you if I can find it. Here we are. So this Fate here is basically a reskin of the old Fate, so you can use Fate with these two skins. But when it comes to the Fate, they both have their own My models, as they are slightly different, as you can tell. This one's head, which is the old Fate, has a bigger head than this one, which is the new Fate. So they both have their own models, so do not retexture these. They have their own models. For the Sphere, the old one, if I can find it, here, as it says here, old and older, you can only retexture this with the old or older variants of the texture, as they are completely the same but retextured. But for the new Sphere, as you can tell, it is also a higher resolution and slightly smaller. So you can only use the new Sphere with the new reskins. Do not reskin the new one with the old skins, else you will break the model. So when you use the pillar model, which is here, you may be wondering, Happy, how does this look like the model that you did in the render? Well, I'll show you. Pillar, as it says, is disguised as a pillar, but it has doors, as you can see. So if you open the doors, you will have a lovely surprise waiting for you inside. That's pretty much it for pillar though. Actually, no, wait. It's also got arms, I keep forgetting that. It's also got arm bits that can also pop out. Now that is pretty much it for pillar. But if you're wondering how to use him or how I managed to pose him like that, he's got parts that you can open. So to use the death particles, I'll be using the new, but the old should be completely the same. So when you spawn in the death particles, I suggest putting the folder into the body, and you'll have to drag these parts to where they either die or disappear in this case. So when you play the animation, their death actually has a nice effect. So to add sounds into Mine-imator is actually pretty straightforward. So we go to Workbench, we go to Audio Track, create an audio track, and then we click on the audio track, and we go to Add Sound. And in the Wonderland.Jar model pack, there's a sounds folder. Also, I don't know why there's two folders. I'll sort that out before the release. And here, as you can see, there's a lot of sounds. So just select any one you want. I'll go for Pain as an example, and plus you can also drag wherever you want, so you can get to a specific part, and that's how you add sounds into Mine-imator. When you look at Angel, they teleport you where they last stood, while also giving you a valuable item. If you get too close to them, they'll disappear. Carrier is a roaming NPC. He's harmless if you don't let him spot you. When you get too close or get spotted by Carrier, he'll start chasing you while also playing some distorted sounds. If you manage to kill him, they'll explode into blood particles. Demonic fish is an aquatic entity, so they usually spawn in the water. Once they spot you, they'll start swimming towards you and charging at you. Once you manage to get out of the water, they'll also try to follow you out of the water. One of they are demons in their stalking phase, so don't really do much and disappear when you get too close. When they're in their chasing phase, they'll give you temporary blindness. Eyed flesh can do one of two things. One of them is that when you get too close to them, they'll turn into eyed, and then they'll flash a bunch of eyes on your screen while also giving you temporary blindness. The other one is they'll jump scare you, locking your screen onto them until they disappear. As the name suggests, he's pretty helpless. All he can really do is walk up to you and explode into blood particles. When you get too close to Messenger, he'll disappear. But there will be a chance he can spawn in an entity when he disappears. No One Twisted will sometimes disappear when you get too close, but also there's a chance he'll just chase you and teleport you to a different dimension. Pillar will look like any ordinary pillar. But once he opens up, he'll scream in pain, while also giving you blindness, and displaying an hexadecimal code that translates to "look at what it did to me" over and over again. Once the blindness clears up, an entity is usually summoned. Remember Me is an entity that can fly, so no matter how high you go, he can fly up. Once he gets close to you, he'll give you temporary blindness while also dashing towards you. Once killed, he'll explode into blood particles. Skinness will sometimes disappear when you look at him or get too close to him. But he can sometimes chase the player too. Once caught, they'll teleport the player to a different position. Somebody basically acts like someone. They'll follow the player no matter where they are. Even if you decide to bridge up, they'll place blocks down to catch up with you as well. Once they're close enough to you, they'll give you temporary blindness. The Ode will chase the player down while giving them blindness. Once he catches up, he'll flash eyes on your screen and disappear. The Hoarder will start to apply diamond armor before dashing towards the player, while displaying messages like leave, die, leave, leave, leave. If you lead the hoarder to a body of water, he'll place down diamond blocks wherever he goes, so he's a quick way to farm diamonds. As the siren has no legs, he'll start to crawl towards the player, while also playing some creepy breathing sounds. If you manage to kill him, he'll explode into blood particles. The sphere will slowly move towards the player. Once they get close enough, they'll become the sphere more. They're also one of the few mobs that can kill players in creative mode. Once they become more, they'll start to chase the player down. If you try to swim away from more, good luck as he can bridge across. Vessel acts like the weeping angel. When you look away from them, they'll slowly inch towards the player. Once agitated, they'll start to chase the player. Was once does nothing, just watching you. But once looked at, they'll pull the player towards them. Once close enough, they'll be affected with temporary blindness and they'll play a creepy sound. As the name suggests, they're a wandering tree. They'll start to approach the player slowly. Once close enough, they'll play a loud glitching chase sound, while also affecting the player with blindness. They're also one of the few entities that can bridge across water. Woodseeker doesn't constantly walk towards the player. They'll stop mid-walk and stare at the player. Once they're close enough to the player, they'll disappear while also affecting the player with temporary blindness. Your mind will sometimes disappear when the player looks at them, affecting them with temporary blindness before they leave. But sometimes your mind can chase the player, locking the screen onto them so they can't look away. Once killed, they'll explode into empty hearts. That's it for part 2 of the Wonderland.Jar Modelpack tutorial. I hope I've managed to help with any areas you needed help in. If you're still having trouble, feel free to leave a comment or give me a quick message or DM in Discord. Catch you later, peeps.